Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to a bonus episode of the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast. This was a recent class that I held about setting yourself up for success to enjoy the holidays and not overdrink. I hope you enjoy. Oh, and I also recommend that you grab a notebook and a pen. This is about a 75 to 90 minute class, depending on how fast you put me on. And I take you through some exercises. So when I ask you to do the exercise while you're listening to this, just hit pause on the podcast and do the exercises and then come back. In the processing to make this into a podcast, I didn't include the long pauses for you to do this work. So just make sure you hit pause, go to your notebook, write the things I'm asking you down, and then just come back and hit play. All right, enjoy. Welcome to How to Enjoy the Holidays Without Overdrinking. I am super excited to be hosting this class today. And maybe just let me know in the chat, are you brand new? Is this your first class with me? Or if you're a repeater, just say new or repeat in the chat so I can kind of get a sense of who's all here. Brand new, woohoo! Hi, Peg. First live, repeat, new, repeat offender. Love it. Repeater, repeat, kind of new. Hi, Tony. Hi, Dixie. MJ, hi. Okay, so we got about half and half, I feel like. Half of you are new, half of you are repeaters, which I love. Welcome, everybody. Okay, I am going to bring on Coach Steph. Just so you guys know, Coach Steph is going to be supporting us in the chat today. So I just want to bring her on and you guys can kind of see who that is. And she's going to say hi. Hi, Coach Steph.
Hi.
How's it going?
Okay.
Yay.
Yucky and rainy out, so it's a
Oh, it
perfect
is?
day to be inside for a workshop.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just give everybody a quick intro since some of them might not know you.
Yeah, I'm Coach Steph. I started working with Angela in the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living program in January 2020, the first launch of the program. And I loved it so much, and I loved Angela so much. I stuck with it, and then Angela encouraged me to become a certified life coach. And then after I did that, she hired me to work with her in all of her programs, and it's been amazing. It's
Yay.
great support for me as well to be on
Yeah.
top of this stuff all the time.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. So Coach Steph will be in the chat with us today. And then at the end, when we talk about the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living program, she's going to come on too. But we love Coach Steph. Everyone's a big fan. Coach Steph, tell them what your relationship with alcohol is now.
I have reduced my alcohol intake by at least 90%. Yeah, so I kind of get a little choked up every time I say it because it's especially with the holidays coming. Like, I know a lot of people this time of year, they really amp up. And I was just having this memory of Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, taking the recycling down to the curb and just being so embarrassed by the amount of bottles that were in our cans. Like, I wanted to go around the neighborhood and like sprinkle them in other people's cans because it was a lot. I mean, there was like 30 people at the house, but it was a lot. And we started on Wednesday. We would start because that's when my sister and I would start cooking, and we'd start with champagne on Wednesday morning and just roll right in through, you know, waking
Yeah,
up feeling like crap on Black Friday, you know.
yeah.
So it's
What's it like now?
now, um, well, we we don't entertain anymore because we don't live in that house anymore. Honestly, it's just like any other day, truthfully. It's just not a big deal at all. And going through the holidays um is not a reason to, drink more.
Hmm.
It's just not. I love Thanksgiving. It was always one of my favorite holidays because we all got together. But it is just a day. It's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
reason to drink more.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a lot different for
Yeah.
sure. I don't
Awesome.
wake up on Friday feeling like crap.
Great. You're intentional, right? So coach, so I don't drink anymore. I don't, I'll get into a little bit of my story. It's been about 6.5 years since I gave up alcohol. Coach Steph still drinks.
I do.
So she's very intentional. Exactly what I'm teaching you in the class today is what Steph does.
Yeah.
So
I
she's
still make a
intentional.
plan. Yep,
Yep.
I'm intentional. I still make a drink plan. I think about it pretty well before I put it down. I do the evaluations. I don't do them every day anymore, but I do them quite often. Um, yeah, and I've been on family vacations without drinking, been to Vegas a couple times without over drinking, been to weddings without drinking. So it's just I'm a completely different person than I
Yeah.
was back when I
Yeah.
started for sure. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to put you back in the chat. I just wanted you all to see who Coach Steph was. You'll see her name is Steph Tell in the chat, but if I'm presenting or something, she's going to support you guys in the chat and we can bring her back on later. Thank you.
You're
See you in a
welcome.
little
Hey,
bit. Bye. Okay, so I'm getting some questions in the Q&A too, and we will answer them. I'm going to get into a little bit of the heart of the class here, and then there'll be definitely time for questions and answers. So again, shut down your devices, turn on Do Not Disturb on your phones, and really just pay attention. I know it's easy to like go check something real quick, but I really want you to, since you're here and we have like an hour and 15 minutes or so, I really want you to focus on how to enjoy the holidays without over drinking. It is 100% possible if you show up with intention, just kind of like what Coach Steph said. Here we go. If for those of you that are new to me, maybe you've heard me on the podcast, maybe you found me on Facebook, but I'm a certified stop over drinking coach for women. I'm the host and the creator of the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast. I've created multiple programs for women over the years to evaluate their relationship with alcohol. I've been coaching in my business for 6.5 years. I also lead sober retreats, and I'm a certified forest therapy guide, which we'll talk about in a second too. So my past was probably very similar to yours. I overdrank a lot. I overdrank for over 20 years. I got married in a vineyard in Sonoma, California. I was deep into the wine culture. I lived in San Francisco, so we had access to all the wineries in Napa and Sonoma. Went to Vegas all the time. That's actually a picture of me drinking some ridiculously expensive martini in Vegas. I used it for all the things, good times, celebratory times, and look at this picture that says trying to ungrouch myself with a glass of wine. So all the range of reasons to drink, I did that. And I really believed that people who didn't drink were boring. And I filtered my friendships and my lifestyle around that idea that I didn't even know wasn't true. Okay. Like I believed that. My parents drank a lot, still do. They raised me with this belief system that people who didn't drink were boring and that people that did drink weren't. And so I didn't even know that I had that belief system as I was going through this until I started like questioning my relationship with alcohol and evaluating it. Okay. So you guys might have some of these beliefs that you around alcohol that you didn't know you had either. And maybe they'll come up during the class today. Maybe just take a note if you recognize some of this stuff within yourself. Also, my life was centered around alcohol. So all vacations, time off, weekends, after work. So like I would plan to have a hangover day on a weekend. I would make sure that my husband would take care of the kids and there's room darkening shades, and I would be planning to like completely sleep in and like not do anything for a half a day on a weekend. And I never questioned that. That is kind of like the shocking thing. It's like if you're planning on being hungover, if you recognize some of this stuff, it should be setting off alerts in your mind. Um, and it's okay to be alerted by that. We want to be alerted by that so we can change it. Okay. Now my life is bigger and I have way more exciting adventures. These are just a few pictures. This was me drinking club soda at a club in Marrakesh, Morocco. I lead sober retreats. We climb mountains at sunset. I go and explore different cities and towns. I travel the world. My life is not centered around alcohol. My life, like it's like I had tunnel vision like this. And then when I evaluated my relationship with alcohol and decided ultimately to give it up, my life just expanded. And so I just want to plant that seed with you today. Not that you need to quit drinking, but to look and evaluate what's working and what's not working with you with alcohol. Okay. And be open to like your life getting bigger and better when you focus on that. So how I help you is I help you identify some of the thoughts in your mind, some of the belief systems that you might have that lead you to drink more. Like my belief was people that don't drink are boring. That led me to drink a lot and literally limit my life to people who drank as much as me, if not more. I also coach you how to change those thoughts and beliefs to get you different results, like not being an overdrinker. I'll help you look at all the areas of your life that maybe you're overstressed or you're overwhelmed or you don't have any boundaries, right? So that you can feel better in your life and then drink less. And I also teach you how to coach. I teach you how to process your feelings, how to recognize your feelings and how to be with your feelings so you're not automatically led to going to search for a glass of wine. And when you change the way you think, you uncover some of these patterns and you learn how to pause and feel your feelings instead of being at the effect of them. That's when you make permanent changes with how much you're drinking. And we're just going to scratch the surface on this class today. So I can help you if you tell yourself you're only going to have one or two, but you typically drink way more than you want to. You feel frustrated with yourself when you wake up and in the morning. You struggle with honoring your commitments. You've tried to cut back in the past, but failed to make it a permanent solution. You often drink as your go-to for relaxation or pleasure or to wind down. And you don't do the things you actually want to be doing. And you might feel stuck, overwhelmed, and you're not sure if you can do it. So if you resonate with this, I'm sure I can help you. And these are just, a couple of my favorite before and after pictures. Just like remembering being in Vegas with that martini and like having my husband take a picture of me thinking I was like really cool. Like I don't do that anymore. Like I was so focused on it and I didn't even know it. Okay. And now I'm definitely more focused on my mental health, journaling, doing what's right for me, helping other women, having fun, and having more adventure. Okay, so how to enjoy the holidays without over drinking. We're going to talk about over drinking, why we overdrink and why it's hard to stop. I'm going to give you a lot of tips, and we're going to do some of it in the class today to help you really enjoy this season. And then I'm going to share with you the details of my Stop Over Drinking and Start Living coaching program, and we're going to answer your questions. Okay, as many as we can today. So I want to know in the chat, and remember to put it, if you want everybody to see your questions, which I find super helpful and you don't feel so alone, make sure it says to everybody in the chat. But I want to know what your drinking story is around the holidays. So what does it normally look like from now until January 1st? Like, what does it look like with alcohol for you? Put it in the chat. Coach Steph shared her story, right? Taking out the recycling, drinking from Wednesday before until, Thursday night, waking up really hungover on Black Friday. What does yours look like? Champagne mornings, a lot of wine. Also tell me more, like how does that affect you? Like if you're having champagne mornings and a lot of wine, what does that do to you? How do you feel when you wake up? Does it add to your stress load? Do you feel more overwhelmed? Tell me more detail. Day drinking, usually start while cooking, then through dinner and after dinner, the next day with leftover, and then pretty much through the day after New Year's. Yeah, just kind of all blends together. Pre-drinking at home before the party, day drinking. I feel disappointed in myself. I feel like crap. I drink more to celebrate and also to relax. It interferes with getting things done. Drinking Christmas Day all day long. I feel tired and not wanting to do anything. Yeah. Isabel, it's time to stay up late and drink a lot at lunch and to the evening. I cannot imagine Christmas without drinking, but I generally feel tired all the time and have arguments with people that I wouldn't otherwise do. Yeah. That's a big one for sure, especially when all these relatives are coming in, right? Like it's triggering. Megan worked really hard to prep Thanksgiving and Christmas only to barely remember and feel terrible the next day, hangover on Christmas morning. Yes, Megan, like all of this work we put into it, right? And then we barely remember it, or we just feel like shit after all of it, right? It's not the point. Amy, I was AF last year, but previously I would use holidays or holiday prep as a reason to drink. If I wasn't hungover, I was at least grumpy and foggy when my kids would get me out of bed on Christmas morning. I feel that. Glass of wine before dinner and feeling the effects of an empty stomach makes me feel horrible. I worry about my liver. Rachel, I feel like it loosens me up to be able to deal with my family, but sometimes my family gets mean and I shut down, drink too much, and get hungover the following day. Also question my husband, did I piss anyone off? Yeah. Asking your partner or somebody else, did I do anything stupid last night? Yes. Deidre used to drink while wrapping presents at night when the kids were younger, then unable to get up with them on Christmas morning. Yeah. Putting on a lot of weight. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you guys feel like you're in good company. And I want you to remember this. Okay. You can change this story. That's all I'm going to leave. Just have some hope for today that you can change this story. Your holidays don't have to be a repeat of that. Okay. So I'm going to talk about why we overdrink and why it's hard to stop. We overdrink because we're seeking to feel an emotion we currently don't feel in the moment. I know that's hard to kind of wrap your head around if you're brand new, but we're going to dig into it in the class. But what we want with alcohol is we're seeking to relax, we're seeking to unwind, de-stress, take the edge off, to feel more joy, to feel more celebratory. And when we use alcohol in that need to feel something or to not feel something, that's when we become addicted to it, because now we need something outside of ourselves to deal with how we feel or want to feel. And we sort of start to believe unconsciously that alcohol is the solution to feel something. And that's when we overdrink. If we use it as an emotional tool, that's why it's hard to stop at one. And over time, your desire for the alcohol, the addiction for the alcohol increases the longer that we do this. Okay, so like how many of you can resonate that you have to drink to deal with family members during the holidays? Just say yes in the comments. Pretty sure everybody should be saying yes, right? Okay, so like that is because you don't feel great for some reason. There's some emotion there that you don't want. Is it stress you out? Is it overwhelming? Do they piss you off? Do you feel like you're being judged? Do you feel like you have to do it all perfectly? There's some sort of feeling there that you can't be with, you don't know how to be with yet. And so we drink to make it better. Make sense? Okay, so that's why it's hard. When you introduce alcohol in that moment, it's like you need a lot more of the substance to deal with your feelings. Alcohol is not a tool to deal with your feelings. It's just not. That's why we need a lot of it in those situations. It's hard to cut back because we don't know how to handle that desire for the alcohol that is built up over time. And it feels really hard to cut back when we've been using it as an emotional tool. We don't know how to deal with that. So we eventually give into it. That's that white knuckling battle in your mind. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. Right. And then you end up drinking. And then you make that desire stronger. We have a lot of societal programming about drinking, especially during the holidays, right? Holiday cocktails and champagne and all the things, right? We're programmed to believe that we need alcohol during the holidays to have a good time and to make it special and to make it beautiful. And when we step out of that and we're like, no, I don't want to do that, it's like all this, we feel all this pressure because we're the ones that are doing something different. And all around us, right, we see other people doing it and we question ourselves. And then most importantly, it's hard to cut back is because we don't uncover the real reasons why we're using alcohol in our lives. And I listed the most common things here to deal with stress, overwhelm, doing too much. We're going to really talk about that in this class in the holidays, right? We're doing too many things. We're distracted. We're not paying attention to what we need. We move too fast, right? How many of you just race from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing to thing? And then at the end of the day, you're like, I just need to relax, right? We're not even breathing. We're just like all day long. We're not supposed to operate like that. We people please. We feel like we should do things, especially around the holidays. We have a lack of boundaries, mostly with ourselves. We don't make our well-being a priority or our mental health a priority. right? So we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not prioritizing our own spaciousness, exercise, water, healthy food, rest, right? We rely on it to cope with difficult situations, and we rely on it to make good times better. And if we don't work on all of that stuff, it's just a temporary band-aid to your drinking. If you just focus on, I'm just not going to drink, and or taking a 30-day break, and you don't look at this stuff, it's a temporary solution. So what I help you do is address all of that stuff. And it takes time. Okay. So if this is your first time in your class, take some nuggets out of this, start applying it, consider working with me on a longer term. But if you're just tracking or if you're just counting days, it's not going to help, because the reason why we're drinking is all of these reasons. And I'm going to be sharing some little nuggets of inspiration today. With Angela's help, I learned to journal, to honor my commitments to myself, to replace my thoughts with intentional ones, and to feel, allowing my feelings. It really has been a life-altering experience. I only wish I made this discovery when I was younger, but nonetheless, I have made changes and continue to grow daily. My business is running better than before. Why? Because I'm a better, stronger, more aware version of me. I recommend Angela's coaching regardless of the area of growth you want to achieve. She will help you get there. She's fully vested to help her clients live their best life. I couldn't be happier with my time with Angela and the results I achieved. Life is a journey, and I like the road I am on now. I want you guys to think about yourselves like being willing to step into some change. Okay. Like this issue with over drinking has probably been on repeat for a while. If you feel brave, tell me how long you've been struggling with over drinking in the comments. Most of the people that I work with, it's at least 5, 10 years, if not 20 or 30. Okay. So we've been here for a long time. You have an opportunity to step in on it and through a new journey today and to take a different path. And that's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, right? And you're not going to know what it's going to look like. But I want to invite you to be open to what that might look like and to be uncomfortable. Yes, 30, 4 years, 15 easy, at least 20 since the pandemic, at least 15, at least since 2006. It was 20 plus years, 30 years. Oh my God, 40 years. Okay. This is what I thought about that. Mine was 20 years. Okay. I have experienced everything that I could possibly experience with alcohol. I am ready for something else. I'm not going to gain one thing from over drinking ever again. There's not one lesson to be learned. There's no new discoveries, right? I am ready to go on a new journey. And so that's what I want to invite you guys in today. Be open to doing it differently. Okay, are you guys ready? We're going to do our first exercise. We're going to review what's ahead for this season. This is part of the being intentional, okay? So if you have your paper and pen, we're going to spend 5 minutes, and I want you to make a list of all of the things you have committed to just in the next week. Today is 1 week before Thanksgiving. Okay. For a lot of us, this is going to be a long list. All right. So I'm going to do it too, but for 5 minutes, we're going to do this. Pen to paper. You'll hear me say that a lot, pen to paper. And we're going to get that list out of our head. Okay. So I just have some examples there. Shopping. How many stores do you have to go to? You don't need to make out your grocery list, but how many stores are you going to need to go to? For me, it's usually 3 or 4 to get all the little special ingredients, right, that I want to have. How many dishes are you going to make? Are you cleaning up the house? Do you have work obligations? When's family arriving? Travel times, events. I want you to list out all the things. Okay. Do you have to go pick anybody up? Do you have to go visit other people? Okay, so 5 minutes and we're going to make a list. Okay, how are you all doing? As I was writing, I was uncovering, I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Did that happen to anybody else? This is my list. Okay, I am overwhelmed by all I have to do. I just got overwhelmed myself. Yep. Okay. So it's okay if you're overwhelmed right now. We're going to fix that. Okay. Anything kind of come up that you weren't expecting during that exercise? Oh, it's your anniversary and you completely forgot, Jan. Oh boy. Yep. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple more minutes. We're gonna look at this list, and next to each one, we're gonna just ask ourselves how we feel about it. Okay? Does it feel good or not good? That's all you need to know. So a way to check in with that is just like kind of like take a deep breath, kind of settle your body a little bit, ground yourself, and then look at the list and just notice how that feels. Does it feel kind of like, oh yeah, that's going to be great? Or does it feel like, yes, is like more of a like a opening, or is it like, no, it's not what I want. Okay, so just kind of like test it in your body how that feels for each one. Okay, and then next to it, all you're going to do is write good or bad. Does that make sense? And you can't get this wrong. If you don't know, just pick like, how do you think it feels? Is it something you're looking forward to or not? All right. Okay, so I'm going to do that too. I'm going to mute and we're going to come back in a couple minutes and review that. Okay, how did that exercise go? I would say most of the things I have, I feel good about, but that exercise also help me see things that I was like, no, I could get somebody else to do it. And that felt good for me to kind of like, okay, I don't have to do all of this. Yeah, some are good, a few bad, and some are both. Can I get someone else to do my colonoscopy? No, but you could reschedule it till after the holidays if you wanted to, right? Or are you trying to get it in before the end of the year? This is going to be part of the, like, sometimes things aren't going to feel good and you're going to choose to do them anyway. But we're going to change our mindset about that so that that feels better for you instead of like you're being forced to do it. Okay. Most were good. Okay, good. This is just paying attention to ourselves, right? We're thinking ahead, we're being intentional. We're seeing what we have to do. And like, are there some things that you can pass off? Okay. And if you want to do everything, that'll be a mindset. Okay. All right. So maybe you did this already. I kind of did it when I was feeling it out. But look at that list and see if you can cross off things that you don't want to do, aren't good for you to do, or if you can delegate them. Okay, so take a couple minutes and go through the list and see if there's things that you can ask for help on, cancel completely. All right, and then we're going to talk about it. So mine, definitely Pete, my husband, is going to have some more things. He probably was already going to do some of this, but one of the big ones that was just like, that doesn't feel good, even though I want it. I want the outcome, but I don't want to do it, is decorating for Christmas. So I want to just have that done. I don't want to do it. And so I'm questioning that, and maybe I don't do it this weekend because we have a lot. We have family coming in on Wednesday. I'm cooking, I'm hosting, I still have work. Um, there's kid activities. I've got choir concert tonight. There's a lot of other added things in there that now adding in decorating my whole house for Christmas is like, is that too much? So I'm gonna have to review that with Pete. So let's just take a couple minutes and go through and see if there's something you can delegate it, cancel, or let go of. Okay, so tell me what you guys decided to let go of. If you feel overwhelmed about the holidays, there's got to be something. Or asking for help with that maybe you hadn't considered asking for help before. So what I'm going to ask for help is where I've enlisted my whole family, including my in-laws, to run a 5-mile race on Thanksgiving morning. And so I'm going to make my husband, I'm not going to make him, I'm going to ask him to pick up the race packets. That's just one little thing. That'll help me a lot, not to have to stop another place. I'm going to talk to him about decorating for Christmas and see what he thinks about that, or if we can do it differently. Um, which, yeah, it's like I want it. If I don't do it this weekend, it's gonna be like another 2 or 3 weeks. And I don't know if I love that more. So that one I'm gonna think through. I'm gonna buy the gravy instead of make it. And my husband is gonna take care of breakfast on Thanksgiving morning. And I'm considering ordering some of the food ingredients online and having it delivered. I'm gonna do that instead of running around to 4 different locations because I have Costco, Harris Teeter, Food Lion, and Trader Joe's on my list. Okay, Rachel, you've decided to keep the colonoscopy appointment. You need to prioritize your body and ensure I have a lot more holidays in the years to come. Good job. Peg, not decorate as much as I have in the past. Yes. Dixie, decorating for Christmas can wait. I'll ask a friend who's coming over to order some of the food. Yeah. Steph, I'm not going to pick up Alex from the airport on Saturday, even though I told him I would. He can Uber. I'm going to put off talking to Nick about his budget finances until after Thanksgiving. Nice. I want to hire the decorating done. Not decorating like I usually do. Great. So a lot of decorating. It seems like a theme, right? We did a light decorating last year. That was our compromise. And I've hired people in the past to take down the decorations. I haven't considered hiring it to get done. That's something I could consider. Okay. So do y'all feel like you lighten the load just a little bit? How do you feel about making that list and looking at how you feel about the thing and then deciding what you're going to do? Does that make it seem less overwhelming? Oh, these are the first holidays without my mother. I'm sorry. Yeah, we have that as well in our family. My husband's sister died this summer, and so this will be the first holiday without her. So thank you for bringing that up. That is really important for you to recognize that it's going to be different, right? And we need to allow some spaciousness to recognize that and allow that grieving to be present. We don't need to overload with things. Well, we're doing it now, Tony. Yeah, Steph says we have that in our family as well. I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, so just kind of getting clear on what you have to do helps. It helps you get that list out of your head. This was a journaling exercise, by the way. That was a journaling exercise. A lot of people are like, I don't know how to journal, blah, blah, blah. But just seeing it on paper is like, okay, I can manage this. I can do this. I can delegate. I can say no to a couple things. I can handle this. I'm choosing to do these things, right? And that kind of brings the temperature down. And we just looked at what's in the next week. I'd recommend you do this, every week throughout the rest of the season. So you can kind of just focus on the week that's ahead of you. Okay. So this is part of being intentional. We want to make conscious and deliberate decisions, especially around alcohol. Okay. Just like we're kind of being conscious and deliberate with how we're spending our time, we need to be conscious and deliberate about alcohol. You want to make these decisions around alcohol based on the relationship you want to have with it. Okay, so if you want to drink significantly less this holiday, we need to be intentional ahead of time with that goal in mind. So we're going to think ahead to social functions, dinners, weekends, vacations, and we're mindful and thoughtful about what you want to do ahead of time and make a plan. Versus usually where people are when we're coming into this and you're looking at support for stopping over drinking is you've been making decisions around alcohol that are very unintentional. Okay, you're making in the moment decisions based on how you feel or don't want to feel. To feel relaxed, to take the edge off, to quiet your mind because I deserve it, to not be boring. Okay. You're also making in the moment decisions to drink, usually because of how your day went or what you're doing socially, or if something went wrong or something unexpected happens, or to deal with your in-laws. Okay, that's what we want to move away from that unintentional to intentional. I had a very fabulous and successful Thanksgiving celebration with family. I honored my drink plan and all was well. This work is hard, but so worth it. When I can get to the hold of why, it will reveal to me the thought and feeling combo that is driving my drinking and the other things I need to get working on. I'm so glad I said yes to this opportunity. Thanks, Angela, for guiding us through. So nobody's saying this is going to be a walk in the park, right? It's hard to say no to things when you haven't been doing that. It's hard to not drink or to really cut back in a situation you have never done that before. Okay, but it's worth it because you're honoring you're paying attention to yourself, and you're following through on your commitment. All of that is worth it. It's like a delayed gratification. Okay, so we want to kind of set this intention and make a goal for alcohol around the holidays. Okay, what do you want this holiday season to be like with alcohol? Do you want to abstain? Do you want to cut back? Do you want to drink significantly less? Do you want to drink more than you usually do? Just think about that for a second. Like, what would feel really great for you this holiday season with alcohol? I want you to remember what you shared at the beginning of the class, what your normal holiday season looks like. So if you want to remember everything and enjoy yourself and not feel like a puffy ball on January 1st, think about what you want to do with alcohol as your goal this season. Only having two or less and only on special occasions and only drink when I am with someone else. Very clear. Good job, Dixie. Megan, looking forward to an AF holiday. Looking forward to not having to make decisions around how much and when. Beautiful. All right. It's really important that you guys decide on this. Okay. Being intentional helps you drink less. Alcohol free throughout the holidays. Not get triggered by my divorce and just enjoy being with my sons. Yeah. Maybe Deidre, we can't prevent getting triggered, you know? Like you can manage your mind and set your intentions and how you want to feel and stuff, but sometimes we're going to get triggered, right? It's just what happens. So maybe the shift could be I'm going to allow my feelings, but my main intention is focusing on my sons, right? Or I'm going to allow my feelings to be present and I'm not going to numb out with alcohol and I want to really spend good times with my sons. Not sure it's difficult to say a goal. What if I fail? What if you win? I mean, we can't predict the future, right? All these things that we're teaching you today are going to help set you up for success. But if you don't have a roadmap, if you don't tell yourself what you want to do, then you have really no place to start from. And you're just like, oh, I hope I don't overdrink. That's not a strategy, right? So at changing your behavior is like working on any other project, right? You wouldn't create something new at work if you didn't have a goal. You didn't know where you wanted to go at the end, right? It's like taking a class, learning a new skill. You want to have that skill at the end. That has to be your goal. Like maybe it's to learn a language or to do a new sport or whatever. You're going to write a book. You have to have a goal to get there. It's like a map, right? And so, of course, there's going to be failures along the way. Anything that we take on in our lives, anything that we do that's new, we're going to have to stumble along the way. That's part of the process. So we have to accept that. Okay. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that you haven't learned how to do it quite right yet. And you can learn from that experience. You can learn from that failure that will inform your next decision, your next pathway. Okay, so we have to be open to that in this process. This is not a success only journey. We're never going to start if we think we have to be perfect. We have to let that go. You're very welcome. Okay. Just so you know, there's no more virtue in drinking less or not at all. Okay, like you really do get to decide. Part of this is owning your decisions. And then we evaluate those decisions. Like did that work for us? Did that not work for us? And you keep going. Okay, so now we're going to make a plan for the next week on paper, and we're going to decide ahead of time how much alcohol we want to drink based on that goal that you just made. Okay, I've created a sample drink plan for you to write. So starting today, Thursday through maybe Friday of next week through Thanksgiving, this is how we're going to set up. So I want you to take a few minutes and think about this and write it in your journal. Okay. If you're in my coaching programs, you have worksheets for this, but do it anyway with us in the group right now, especially if you don't have a plan. So I'm going to mute and you guys can take a couple minutes to think about your goal and what you want this next week with alcohol to look like. All right. Do you all have your plan? I'm planning on having a glass of good wine and Thanksgiving dinner. Nothing before or after. I have two awesome cocktails I've concocted I'm going to serve at gatherings. Are those mocktails or cocktails? Mocktails. Okay. That's fun. I'm making a mocktail for Thanksgiving too. Okay. Do you all feel good about your plan? You don't have to share it in the chat if you don't want to. Beth, I already planned to experiment this week without drinks, even with my in-laws coming for dinner on Saturday. I've always felt I needed a drink to deal with the comments and questions my mother-in-law comes up with. I was feeling fine with this decision until they asked if they could stay overnight to avoid driving in the dark. I immediately wanted to change my plan to add drinks. Yeah. So did you say that they could spend the night or did you say no, Beth? Your plan is 0 every day and I'm looking forward to it. Yay, Amy. Yes, you said they could stay. Okay. Do you want to, what are your thoughts about that decision? Because this is a thing. This is probably unconscious, right? You have thoughts about them staying over. What are those thoughts? And how do those thoughts make you feel? And then what feeling does that drive you to do? Does it drive you to want it? It's driving you to want to change your drink plan, right? So is it anxious thoughts? Are you angry? Are you resentful? That's what I would uncover. And you can change that so that you can feel a little bit more settled and a little bit more at peace, right? So that you can keep to your plan. Part of this, and I think this is on the next slide, is not changing your drink plan based on unexpected events. Okay. So you just want to recognize that. So you're just recognizing, I want to change my drink plan because my in-laws are staying over. And there's a reason for that. It's because of a feeling that you're having. And so my recommendation is to commit to not making changes with your drink plan based on your feelings. Okay, that doesn't have your best intention. You want to think about your goal, right? You want to think about what you want to have with alcohol from the higher part of you, not from these feelings that can often lead you awry. Okay, it's okay to have those feelings. We want to recognize them and breathe through them, process them, but not take action from them. So that's where we can become very powerful is when you recognize that and you're like, okay, even though I'm feeling anxious, I'm not going to do this. Even though I feel this way, I'm going to honor my drink plan. I can be with this feeling. Okay, the other part of so we have your goal, we have your drink plan, right? You're reducing your list, right? You're getting aware of all the things you've committed to. And now it's time to look at your self-care. And I really want you to be open to doing this even throughout the holidays. When we let go of taking care of ourselves is when the drinking creeps. Okay, think about all the things that we have to do. I have my workouts on my to-do list. I had written yoga, I lift weights, I walk. I put all of that on my list. That is 100% staying in. Okay. So think about the things that you do that make you feel good, right? So if you can reflect a little bit, like when you're taking good care of yourself, are you drinking less? So we want to make sure we're taking good care of ourselves, right? So moving your body every day, even if it's just a 15-minute walk outside in fresh air, drinking 60 ounces of water every day, getting good sleep, having ample downtime and alone time, writing and journaling every day, limiting social situations that feel triggering and overwhelming. Come early, leave early, have an exit strategy. Set up some space in your parties, or if you're hosting or if you're going to a party, bring a comfort station with tea and mocktails and refreshing things for people. And then you want to notice negative self-talk or lack of belief in yourself and redirect how you want to think about yourself in the holidays. Okay, this is like baseline stuff. The people that invest and prioritize self-care drink less. It's when we let this stuff go that when we start looking for things to make ourselves feel better. So after this class, we don't have time to like really dig into what your personal self-care plan is, but I want you to make a self-care plan. I've included my personal self-care plan through the next week, all of next week. This is exactly what I've committed to doing. Okay, it's things like walking every day, journaling, drinking my water. We're running a 5-mile race in Thanksgiving. I'm going to go to yoga a couple times, but walking, journaling, and water is almost on every day. So really think about how you can add space and time and prioritize your self-care during the next week. It's going to be crucial if you want to feel good. And when we feel good, we do good. All right. You have to do this. If the people that don't do this don't make a lot of progress. So figure out a way to work it in. I get up really early in the morning to work it in. I was out walking at 6:30 this morning because it's just busy, right? And I have to like prioritize that. Otherwise, it doesn't get done. And that's okay. I know how I feel when I prioritize this, especially when things are busy. So it's almost like I get really rigid around protecting this stuff so that I can handle the busyness and I can handle some of the stress that comes with it, right? And I don't turn into a raging bee. All right, so screenshot this, but this is your homework is making a self-care plan. You also want to identify obstacles ahead of time. So unexpected invitations, urges, your mind, thoughts like it doesn't matter, it's the holidays, overdoing it and saying, I'll start in January. So if you do have a failure, right? A lot of times we might overdrink and not stick to our plan. That's normal. But then like picking ourselves back up and starting again the next day, right? We don't want to just kick it to the curb until January 1st. You can still rein things in and drink a heck of a lot less. Even if you overdrink, a couple occasions, you can still drink a lot less, even with those failures, as long as you don't keep kicking it forward till Mondays and January 1st. Okay. Doing too much. That's an obstacle. Saying you do things we don't really want to or need to, right? Those are obstacles. So I want you to identify your obstacles and kind of come up with a plan with how you're going to handle that. Social events. Okay, so how do we do this with social events? A lot of people are asking, like, people just pour drinks. I got emails like, how do I handle people just offering me drinks and pouring drinks? And, I don't have control over what goes in my glass. You 100% have control what goes in your glass. You 100% have control about what you drink and put in your body. Okay, so that is a thought. That's a belief that you don't have control, but nobody is actually putting alcohol in your mouth against your will. You have power over that. So if you want to drink less, yeah, guys, I got my drinks tonight. Communicate in advance. Nope, no, thank you. Monitor. Don't let people tap off your wine. Put a coaster over the top of it. Have water with you all the time. You can just say no. No, thank you. I'm good for now. Oh, I'm good. Thank you. They're not going to care. I promise you. You have that ability. You have to believe that about yourself. Okay. Other people are not responsible for you cutting back on your drinking. Other people are not responsible for you cutting back on your drinking. That is your job. All right. You want to have an exit strategy in these situations. A lot of times we get into these family events and social events and we're like, okay, it starts at 6 and we have no end game. Right. And we start drinking and then we're there for 4 or 5 hours and it gets away from us. So if you want to not do that and you want to feel good, like, okay, talk to your partner, talk to your family and say, can we go from 6 to 8? Or I'd like to leave by 8 p.m. I don't want to stay and linger and end up over drinking, especially if it's not something you're actually enjoying. Okay. Don't worry about what other people will think. A lot of you guys worry about what other people will think about your drinking. That is none of your business. Okay, what other people think, you're probably wrong about anyway. You need to worry about what you're thinking and what you're doing. And don't change your drink plan last minute based on social situations or your own anxiety about not being able to do it. Okay, it's okay to be uncomfortable. Go forward with your plan. Don't worry about what other people think. Yes, Deidre, being prepared with the phrase usually helped me in social situations, right? So just decide how you're going to handle that ahead of time. This is an obstacle. You're going to have some urges. So how I teach about allowing urges is you allow versus resist. So when you notice you're wanting the alcohol, you're going to just take some deep breaths and relax your body instead of that resistance, that tightening up and white knuckling and staying up in your head about it. You're like, okay, it's okay that I'm having urges right now. That's normal. I'm supposed to allow and accept how I feel. Allow and accept and breathe and slow down. Don't get all up in your head and get in that battle. You want to tap into your body. For those of you that do yoga or exercise, you know what I'm talking about. Focus on your body, focus on your breath, in and out. Remember that this is part of the process. It's normal to have urges. You're going to have them, especially when things are during the holidays and a lot of moving parts and a lot of people. Your brain is going to want to go to your go-to for comfort. Okay, so if you decide not to drink or if it's a lot less, You're going to have some of these urges to work through. It's okay. What if the event is at your place or somewhere you are staying? How do you make an exit plan? Well, I just decide I'm going to go to bed at a certain time. And if there's still people in the house, my husband can stay up. Like, this is something that I talk about ahead of time with the family. Okay. Um, if you're hosting like a big party and you want to be done, just you can go to your room. I'm done, guys, or just do what they call an Irish exit, I think. They just go. You just go, right? People probably aren't paying attention. And then if you're driving somewhere, right, and maybe your partner, your family doesn't want to leave, consider having an alternative way home. Do you get an Uber? Do you let them get an Uber? Do you ask, you just want to make a plan ahead of time. If you want to leave early, a lot of this comes down to communication with your people. Share your intentions. This is what I would like to do. This is what I'd like to see. I don't want to stay up all night. I don't want to linger at the party. I don't want to change how you guys show up. So let's figure out a way that where everybody can be happy. A lot of that can be solved with just advanced communication. Steph has no problem kicking people out. I don't either. At this point, I'm just like, all right, everybody, time to go. But we don't host a lot since COVID. We just haven't hosted a lot of parties. And my in-laws that are coming now are staying over. And I just have no problem going to bed. Okay, everybody, they stay up. My husband will stay up with them, watch movies late. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to bed. It's not a big deal. Your coaching program has changed my life. Only 6 weeks in and my urges are gone. Would have never believed it after 3 to 5 glasses a day. This is what happens when you actually allow those urges and work through them. If you've been trying to do this on your own for anything longer than a year, so if you've been listening to podcasts, reading books, it's time to get some support. It really is. Most people that struggle for years and years can't do this on their own. And there's nothing wrong with you for that. It's just that you need extra support. So get coaching. If you're in one of my programs, apply to join the coaching program I'm going to tell you about. Find a therapist who specializes in alcohol overuse. These are just some suggestions. Join a group with like-minded people who are committed to figuring this out. Like being together in community really helps because you're not alone. Surround yourself with people who want to make those changes. When I mentioned in the beginning about the culture in our society, when you're wrapped up in the culture of drinking and everybody is drinking around you, it's hard to be the only one doing that. So that's why it's important to put yourself in a situation or a container or a group, right? Or a meetup or something that you can talk about this with people who understand and get it and want to improve. A lot of times our family and friends don't get it because they're not working on it. Okay. And we don't want to force other people to like come along on this with us. You need to support yourself and find avenues to do that. So read all the Quit Lit books. Quit Lit books are just books about, memoirs and things about people overcoming their own alcohol drinking and things. Podcasts, I have my podcast, Stop Over Drinking and Start Living. I like to, fuel like get my social media feeds with some of these accounts so I'm constantly reading and absorbing information about alcohol and what it does to you. So I can get pre-programmed, right? We've been programmed to believe a certain thing about alcohol and that influences us. We're very easily programmed, right? We're easily influenced to think things. And so curating your social media feeds can help do that. Like I want to be reading things that are going to help me drink less, not more. This program saved my life. The amount I spent on it was absolutely nothing compared to the amount of money I was spending on being miserable. My husband said it was worth every penny. I'm happy every day that I found this program. I could tell it was different from other programs I've seen, and I took the leap of faith and did it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Megan, I'm so proud of you for this. I made hotel reservations this year. My in-laws aren't thrilled, but I'm very happy. Yes. Yep. It's okay if people get disappointed. It really is. Everyone's adults. Everybody can handle their feelings. All right. You're not responsible for making everybody happy. To stop over drinking and to make this permanent, you have to put yourself on the top of the happiness chart. Okay. And let other people have their feelings. We've been people pleasing for far too long and trying to control all the things and gripping on to let go of that and focus on what is good for us. And until you do that, it's going to be a hard battle. Amen. Okay, we covered a lot of information today. All right. We talked about why we overdrink, why it's hard to stop. You've made a goal. You've made your weekly drink plan. We talked about urges. We're going to prioritize self-care. That's your homework, is to make your self-care plan for the next week. Manage your mindset and get support. Okay. I have a couple questions that came through in the Q&A. I'm just about to go out to dinner with my sisters, who I feel often provoked around, and who I always drink a lot with at social occasions. We drink a lot in my family. I told myself a few days ago that I wouldn't drink this evening, but now the time is approaching. That just feels like an impossibility and really depriving. I'm not sure what to do now. So this is the thing, Isabel. I would recommend that you follow through on what you said you're going to do, right? Your mind, this is what we do. We make a plan and then your mind kicks in and it's scared to go do something new that it hasn't done in a long time, right? I'm sure at some point in your life you drank with you didn't drink with your sisters, right? It's just been a long time since you've done that. And so your brain is like firing, right? It's saying it's going to be hard and you're going to feel deprived and how are you going to do this? It feels impossible. I would invite you not to engage with those thoughts. Okay, it is going to be uncomfortable, right? And you can still do it. You can decide to not take action from that anxious feeling that you're at right now. Allow that feeling to be present and then decide how you want to show up. That's interrupting this automatic process. Okay, you are going to be deprived either way. Either in the morning, you're going to be deprived of the satisfaction and the joy that you feel for following through on your plan. If you drink tonight, you will deprive yourself of those feelings tomorrow. Okay. If you don't drink tonight, you might be deprived of some alcohol. You get to choose. The deprivation that you'll feel tomorrow is probably a lot worse than what you'll feel tonight. Okay. If you decide to drink tonight, right, that's going to steal the confidence and all these feelings that you want to have tomorrow. I choose not to do that anymore. It's okay to be a little bit deprived in the moment. It's temporary, right? That's what's going to be required for you to make progress towards your goals. You can also communicate in advance to your sisters, I'm not drinking tonight. Please don't ask me to. I'm just going to have mocktails. I'm just going to have water, whatever it is. I do not want to drink tonight. That might be helpful. Wondering if you have tips to deal with a partner that still drinks daily. I know all the normal, stay in your lane, focus on yourself, blah, blah, blah. I love him and I want our relationship to last and continue to grow, but not sure I can handle being the only sober one. Yeah, I want to be around him less in the evenings. That is a journey, Janelle. Don't have a quick piece of advice for you from that. You can have conversations with him about it. Be like, no, I don't know how much you've talked to him about it or anything, but when he's not drinking, you never want to address it when somebody's drinking. Okay. So not in the moment, right? So maybe in the morning, when you're talking about things, maybe you're sharing your goals with him, you can say, I really want to spend time with you, but it's really hard for me when you start drinking. I don't want to be around you when you're drinking. So when you drink, I'm going to go in the other room. Don't tell him to stop drinking, but this is a boundary. When you drink, I'm going to go in the other room and let him share what he wants to share about it. And like, maybe you guys can be more connected around it. A communication is going to be key around that. Tell him how you feel, not in the moment, right? If you want to work on your relationship around that, it's absolutely possible. So now I'm going to talk to you about the Stop Over Drinking, Start Living program. Woohoo! Very excited. Let me know if you have any other questions about the holidays. You have some homework. And now I'm going to tell you how you can join me and Stop Over Drinking and Start Living. So Stop Over Drinking and Start Living is a 6-month coaching program, small group, women only, live coaching calls. It's application only. We're going to let you know how you can apply. Don't worry, maybe Coach Steph could put that in the chat. And it's accessible anywhere. So this is just what it looks like when you log in and all of the topics. Every month, we have a deep dive into one topic. When you first join, we make a goal for the 6 months and there's resources in there to get you started. And then we dive into the month 1, which is all about feelings. You get a workbook, there's tutorial videos, and every day of that month, you have a worksheet. It's a workbook that you fill out that helps you become more aware of your feelings and you start to know yourself more and interrupt the automatic behavior that comes from our feelings. And you get to really understand and see your triggers around alcohol and start to chip away at being at the effect of those feelings and being more, having more agency over your life. Not even just with alcohol, but everything. Are you super reactive to things? Do you fire off at people quite often? Do you like go hide when you are triggered? You'll get to recognize that and work on it and decide how you want to show up. That's what we start with. And then every month of the program, we take another deep dive into that area and we work on it and we chip away at it. And by the end of the 6 months, you will have addressed all those things that I talked about at the beginning of the class: boundaries, how you show up for yourself, taking good care of yourself, reducing your overwhelm. You will fix the underlying reasons to why you're overdrink, and you will know yourself really well, and you will start doing more of the things that you actually want to be doing. This is the link in the chat. If you guys want to click on that, as soon as we shut this down, it won't be there, but we will include it when we send out the replay later as well. But it's angelomascenik.com/join SODSL. It's a $50 application. And if you are approved to join, then that is taken off your final balance. So again, I just kind of talked about the monthly workbooks and videos, but inside the program, we take a deep dive into one area where we explore and unravel the old thought patterns. We create new ones, high touch, high level coaching, access to previously recorded live classes I've taught. We have a private community that's actually going to be off Facebook. I'm really excited about that. That's going to be all in one spot. So when you log into your program, the Stop Over Drinking program, our community is going to be in there and all of the material. So it's just one access point. Very easy to manage. You can do it on the go while you're traveling, from anywhere. You can receive unlimited written coaching support in our community, and that's where you can connect with other people inside the program as well. Each week, we're going to have 2 opportunities to get coached live over Zoom by myself or Coach Steph. So we're going to have 8 calls a month. So this is a high touch, high accountability program. All of the calls are recorded and uploaded to your own portal where you can watch if you can't make it to the live coaching calls. You can also submit coaching worksheets in advance, and we can coach, kind of indirectly on the calls, and you can watch it on the replay if you can't make it live. So there's multiple touch points and opportunities. The calls range from morning during the week to evening, and some on the weekends. So it's accommodating for all the different time zones and schedules. Yay to no Facebook. Yeah, nothing's being replaced. This is just an additional program that I'm offering. So if you're in a live AF or something else through me, you don't have to worry about it. You can stay there or you can do both. It's up to you. It's just another opportunity. This is a sample schedule for what it looks like for January so far. We have multiple orientations the first month of the program. I think we have 3 of those during the month. We have the live group coaching calls. Some of them are on Sundays, some of them are in the evenings, and some of them are midday. But it should be pretty accommodating for everybody. You get the schedule at the end of every month for the following month, so you can plan accordingly. The cost for the 6-month coaching program is $3,600 for the 6 months of daily support, 8 live calls a month, unlimited written coaching support, monthly workbooks and videos, bonus courses, and the community support that you get. And then this is the link to Coach Chef put that in there in the chat again. But the exciting thing right now is we have some early bird bonuses going on through December 15th. So this is for people who apply, you're approved to join, and you join before December 15th. You get an extra month inside the program. So if you join now, the program starts on January 1st and it'll go until the end of July. So you have 7 full months of access to the program and all the coaching and all the materials. And it's $600 off. So that means you get a full month for free and the cost of 1 month off, which is basically 2 months for free. The regular program is $3,600, and that will be the price after December 15th. So right now it's $3,000. You get access if you sign up before December 15th. The access starts January 1st. So it's like a no-brainer for everything that you get inside there. So if you do the work inside the program, you'll experience permanently stopping over drinking, the freedom that comes when your mind isn't thinking about whether or not to drink, regretting things the next morning, endless chatter in your mind about drinking, the skill to process your emotions and not be the effect of them, huge savings on alcohol and other things, right, that we sort of buy to make ourselves feel better, the chance to enjoy any social situation without drinking or having a couple without overdoing it, Average reduction ranges between 50 to 80% for people who do the program, who show up, who complete the program, get regular coaching, do the work in the workbooks, get about a 50 to 80% reduction on average. And some people end up leaving it altogether. This program is definitely for you to evaluate your relationship with alcohol. You get to decide what your goals are. This is not a moderation program. This is not a quit drinking program. We help you figure out what is best for you through this evaluation, through evaluating your failures. It's not a success only journey for sure. It's a dedicated experience where you really say, I'm ready to figure this out. I'm going to show up. I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to go on a new journey. I've experienced this one to completion. I'm ready to go see what else is out there for me. So again, this is the link to join or to apply. So this is the website that you will go and you'll click to apply. Read through the details if you want. I've just shared everything that's there pretty much. There's a video from me and Coach Steph on there. Coach Steph will be leading half the calls, which you're really excited about. I'll be leading half of the calls. All of the materials I've developed after coaching for 6.5 years. Thousands of women have come through this program, Alive AF, private coaching clients. I know what you guys need to focus on. And I've put the materials in order for you to go through that process with learning how to feel your feelings, learning how to manage your mind, learning how to take care of yourself, and doing more self-love actions versus self-sabotage. I put all of that together in the way that works for most of the people that want to do this. So we're very excited about opening this up. This was my original small group coaching program that I developed back in 2020 when Coach Steph came in. I closed it down for 2 years, but I'm opening it back up in a different version, a different way of giving you guys access to the materials now. And Coach Steph is going to be coming and doing half the calls. So we're very excited to bring this back and do the deeper work with people who really want to get in there and figure this out once and for all. I'm excited. It's worth it. Changed my life. I'm still following this guidance 4 years later. I love that, Deanna. Thank you for sharing. Amy, as someone who has worked extensively with Angela, I would tell you this is the best money you'll ever spend if you go all in. You'll love it and your life will change. Thank you, Amy. I and at least one other person on this call have done this. It's great. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Happy to answer any questions. I can come off this presentation now. So how do you feel about the holidays? We'll get the link to apply. It's angelamascenik.com/join SODSL. That's where the link to apply to join the program. Again, it's a $50 application fee. If you're not approved to join, we'll refund that within a week and give you recommendations about what we think. We will not disapprove everybody. We really want to see people who are serious and work with people who we think we can help, right? So we didn't talk about this, but I put it in all the emails. If you feel like you need to rely on alcohol to get through your day, if you feel physically addicted, it might be dangerous for you to take a break from alcohol. This is not the program for you. This is for you if you know that you can take a few days off without any issue. You have a big attachment to alcohol. You resonate with everything that we talked about today. You want us to be your coaches, and you believe that doing this work will help you improve your relationship with alcohol, whatever that looks like, then apply. But it's definitely not like a detox program or a recovery program where you need help getting off alcohol. It's not that. Most people that apply get approved, but we do not just want to approve everybody. We want people to come in who we know we can help and who'll be successful. Oh, Dixie, I'm experiencing approximately 50% reduction in drinks since February this year. Angela is great. I'm so proud of you, Dixie. Applying right now. Woohoo! That's amazing. Apply, apply, apply. So if you apply, we promise to get back to you within 24 hours during regular business hours. We'll probably send you an email or a text. You also can talk to us on the phone if you want to after your application is approved to make sure and to get more questions answered. But just if you want to join and you feel good about that, get in before December 15th so you can get all those bonuses and discounts. Okay, what other questions can I answer for you all about the holidays? Do you guys feel better about the holidays in your drinking versus an hour and a half ago? Do you feel like you have some direction, at least? And are you ready to take it? Are you ready to do the work? and go on that journey and declare that you're going to drink less this holiday season. Yes. Good. How do you stop at the plan amount? That's a big question, Peg. We actually have a workshop inside the program that we're going to be doing live inside Stop Over Drinking and Start Living called How to Stick to Your Planned Amount. We've done it in other programs in the past, so we will be doing that inside. But basically, the real quick and dirty is may have a plan, right? You got to be intentional, exactly what we talked about. Take real good care of yourself. So we want to invest in our own self-care and not rely on alcohol for good times and bad, and then not be distracted while you're drinking. So a lot of times in these holiday situations, just there's like these open bars and wine's just being poured. That's not being intentional. It's like sit down with your drink, be very mindful, be conscious and aware, remember your drink plan, and be ready to handle urges after you're done. So have a plan after your planned amount. So say you plan for 2 glasses of wine. You've had your 2 glasses of wine, your brain's going to be like, oh, one more won't hurt. It's the holidays. You have to be ready for all of that. So you can have a mocktail afterwards, have a plan to have a cup of tea, go in the bathroom and excuse yourself, leave the party. You have to have a plan for when you're done, and you have to stay very connected to your goals during that. So it's a more than I can mention in a quick comment, but hopefully that'll give you some direction for now. You're ready. I so want to do this and know I need to. Ugh, I just don't know if I trust myself to follow through. This is the thing. We will build trust over time, Mary. We start small and you follow through on little things, right? And I don't know if anybody else wants to weigh in on this. Maybe Coach Steph has something to say about it. But like part of building trust is when you don't follow through, what you do with that failure. Okay, so when we don't follow through, which is a part of the process, say we make a drink plan, we don't follow it. Okay, what you do afterwards and how you learn how to handle that failure is also building trust with yourself. So it's not saying, oh, fuck it, I'll just start again next week, or I'll start again on January 1st, or I'm quitting this. That's where we need to start building the trust first, is when you actually do have the failure and how you're going to handle that failure differently. And that's 100% what we teach you inside the program. We evaluate these things, we learn from these things, and we keep going. It's a big part of the process. Does that help? You're not going to do it perfectly, but if you can learn how to imagine everybody, like you have a failure, think about how you fail now, right? Probably have had a lot of them around alcohol. If you could learn how to show up for yourself the day after that failure in a better way, how much you would drink less. That's what we do. And so when you learn how to shorten that time cycle, you will drink a lot less, right? And you can still get to that 80% reduction if you want. Okay, Coach Steph, why don't I bring you on and we can talk about it too, so you can get to know Coach Steph a little bit more. Coach Steph is like, I feel like people like her more than me sometimes. Plus, it's nice to have somebody too that I don't drink anymore and Coach Steph does. So you have both in there to kind of help you guide through things. Hi.
Crack me up. That's different.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait, talk to Mary. You said you were chatting to Mary. Tell her what you were saying in the chat.
Yes, what I wrote in the chat was I've said this on podcasts and whatnot, but I really did think that I was going to be the one person that Angela couldn't help, but I knew I needed a change. I needed to do something. And so I applied anyway. And I think, one of the biggest reasons why I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this because Angela answered me on like Christmas Eve. I applied and she answered me on Christmas Eve. And I was just like, holy shit, you're a real person. Like, and then I answered her back and she answered me back. And I was just like, oh my God, this is a real person who actually cares whether I succeed or not. It's not some big entity. And so I put in the chat before that New Year's Day, right before I started working with you, I woke up with my son telling me that the night before at midnight, I forced pots and pans into his friends' hands and made them go outside to bang them at midnight. And to this day, I have no recollection of it, none. And then, I started working with Angela when we started, and it was, yeah, it was not linear in any way, shape, or form. Many, many, many failures, which I don't really like that word. I like to say learning experiences, because if you do the work, then you can learn so much from those failures when you really dig into why you're over drinking. And then Deidre wrote something about that she likes, that I do do the evaluations on the days that I succeeded and followed my plan. And I found that just to be a really good way to keep reiterating to myself that I do things right, because it's so easy when you don't follow your plan to just completely focus on the negative. And when you
Yeah.
keep in your mind, the good things that you do, it definitely keeps you from beating up yourself a lot. It keeps you from staying in that shame cycle, because you have proof that you do things right.
Yeah, and just not drinking or drinking isn't the only way we measure success.
Right.
Going back to the original question, it's like I don't trust myself, right? We need to trust ourselves that we're looking at the full picture. Like, did you have a plan? Did you do the work? Did you get coaching? Did you do something different, right?
Mhm.
Those are the things we want to focus on. And the not drinking or drinking is a small part of it. It really is. It's more about recognizing all the things that you are doing and learning about some of the things that aren't working so that you can make adjustments.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the only measure of
Mm.
your progress.
No,
Learning to feel your
I
feelings, learning how to manage your mind, learning, seeing your patterns in behavior, interrupting those automatic patterns in behavior, improving your relationships, taking better care of yourself. Those are the bigger results, really.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, there's been times when we've said it's not about the drinking, because
Yeah,
it really does roll over into every other aspect of your life.
yeah,
Um, I mean, my life is way different than it was back in 2020, and much, much better for the most part,
yeah.
much better.
Nobody has a
No,
perfect life
no,
here.
that's not perfect, but
You learn how to deal with the difficult things though through this process.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was even just telling a client the other day that, even say you normally come home at 5:30 and you immediately pour yourself a drink. If you do the work and process urges and whatnot, and at 8 o'clock you pour yourself a drink, that's still a win.
Hmm.
It's still a success, because you were able to make that time period longer in between, and probably drink less that night because it is later than stopping
Right.
at starting at 5 o'clock. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's many different ways to measure the success in this work.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What else? Um, Amy says the only thing you have to follow through on is logging on and engaging. You get a prescription for how to fail forward, exactly what to do. Stop beating yourself up so you don't lose days and weeks to do it. So good. Yeah.
Yeah, hi Mary. I do remember you.
Yes, we do remember you, Mary. Dixie, one of the self-care items I put on my holiday plan is don't beat yourself up if you have an overdrink. This is so important to remember.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely. Because
We're
if beating
humans.
ourselves up worked, we wouldn't be where we are,
That's
right?
right.
Because I think we're all experts on beating ourselves up. We're not experts at giving ourselves compassion and grace,
Yeah.
you know.
Good.
And the beating up keeps you in that shame cycle.
Absolutely.
Horrible.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want them to know about you or the program?
Well, obviously, I think the program is amazing.
You're a little biased, but
Little biased. I'm super excited to be such a big part of it.
yeah.
I've did some coaching in a live AF, live, and did, mentor calls and whatnot in SODSL. And I feel so proud and honored that Angela is trusting me to coach you all. And I'm super excited to get started. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun. As Angela said, it's not always easy, for sure. There's definitely tough times. But it's so worth the money. I wish I could remember how much I said I was spending a year,
Oh, it was like $50,000.
grand a year, easy, that I was spending on alcohol alone.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, 50 grand a year. Um, well, it makes me want to throw up right now.
I
But
know. Yeah.
compared, if you look at the cost and you're thinking, oh my God, I can't afford it, do the math on how much alcohol you're buying. How
Mhm.
when you go out to eat, what is your bill, your alcohol bill? It adds up.
Mhm.
Um, so it's worth it. I don't know, to me it's priceless.
Yeah. Yeah. We've done the math, on average amount. It's about 4,500 or 5,000 a year on average that most people spend. But then if you look at holidays and vacations and special occasions like that, it's probably a
Yeah.
lot more. So,
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more than what we think.
yeah.
I think we underestimate. We tend to underestimate how much we're drinking and how
Hmm.
much we're spending, for
Yeah.
sure. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that.
Aw. The way I talk to myself is the number one thing that has changed since I met Angela.
Yeah,
Yeah. It makes a big difference in your life for sure.
it does. Because you don't want to hide from yourself when you talk to yourself differently. You don't want
Yeah.
to numb from yourself.
Yeah.
So get your applications in now.
Yes.
Don't miss
Feel
that
good about
discount.
having a plan to kick off January and
Yeah.
take advantage of the massive discount. So, in the extra month.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think that's a bit. That's it. Any other final questions, thoughts you guys want from us? We will get this processed and uploaded. You'll get an email with the replay link. It'll be up. We're going to keep it up until December 15th. So if you want to come back and rewatch it, take notes, there's a lot of information to absorb and big decision if you want to join the program. So take your time and let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah.
All right, friends, you're very welcome.
I'm glad it was helpful.
Yes. All right, you got this. Be strong in these holidays. Have fun, right? Focus on what's important to you. Let go of the rest. You don't need to control everything.
Yeah.
Feel good. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Did you all love that class? Did you get rid of some things on your list? I'm really excited for you to enjoy this holiday season, and you need to come apply to join me and Stop Over Drinking and Start Living and get those early bird bonuses. www.angelamascenik.com/join SODSL. Can't wait to see who joins me.